Jerry, I wanted to kind of hopefully get us into an area where it's a little funner for us, and kind of a little bit lively. So we've got the NFL season's kind of going to be starting to kick in. We've got right now we're into the preseason. So and it's interesting because this year we're going to have 18 weeks, right? With one week being a bye. You got these 32 teams playing, and the schedule is set to end on July 5th. I mean, you've got so really like week one has got this grandiose thing where they're going to be playing in Brazil on Friday, September 6th. You got the Philadelphia Eagles and your team, the Green Bay Packers.
That's right.
I know.
Right.
Are you excited for this year?
I'm excited to see how that looks. And yes, as a Packer fan, I'm very excited that we may have struck gold 3 times in a row with our quarterback, from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. So I'm feeling pretty good about our chances. But the 49ers are a pretty good football team, and they're not going anywhere either.
Well, you got KC. Can they go
right.
3? I mean, that's the big item. I mean, can they become the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row? They're right now favored with obviously the 49ers on their heels. You've got the other team is the Eagles, the Ravens, some other teams in contention there. The other big area that or kind of interesting is, this is going to be also it'll be the first season where you've got Tom Brady, who had been obviously New England Patriots for such a long time. He's going to make his Fox Sports debut,
right.
He's going to end up making it. On Sunday, September 8th? He's going to be broadcasting It'll be Dallas Cowboys along with the Cleveland Browns for the kickoff, and so that'll be Tom Brady's thing. So it'll be
great to hear his insight. I'm looking forward to that. But being a great football player doesn't always doesn't transpire or doesn't always make you a great analyst.
Yeah.
Aikman was a great Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a great analyst. So hopefully he'll give those sorts of insights that we don't really see when we're watching a football game. Tony Romo's pretty good at dissecting plays and letting us know what's going to happen. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's America's sport, and I can't wait for the season to begin.
Yeah,
as well as college football.
Yeah, well, just before we go to college, Amy and I, we were because she's a big 49ers fan. She still has not taken down the decorations that she had around the house with her signed football there, I think from Steve Young, along with her, her 49er cap from underneath the TV. So I've had to see it there the whole year. But one of the things that we saw was a kind of a different kickoff that they're having that they've had in years past. And so we've had to watch that video a couple of times as to, okay, so where they line up, where the ball touches. And so it's going to be a little bit of getting used to kind of try to understand some of these rules.
I think that obviously they were trying to protect safety because the kickoff's the most dangerous play. And I think they wanted to always provide a chance for a team to run a kickoff back, especially if they were down in the fourth quarter by less than, by 8 points or less. And they may have found that sweet spot. So we'll see. It's a different look to see the kickoff. That's for sure in the first couple exhibition games that I've tuned into.
Yeah, well, and as you were mentioning, college football gets on the way. It's we're looking to set start on was it Saturday, September 24th. But really, a lot of the Division I teams will start a little bit thereafter. So we've got the 24th, and you've got the 29th, and you've got you're starting to get heavy into the season on Saturday, September 31st, when you're going to have Clemson versus Georgia. You got Penn State versus West Virginia. You've got some Notre Dame versus Texas A&M, and then you start getting into even Sunday play on September 1st. And so, the big thing for me is as you can hear all these different teams, that you know the names, but we've got this big mixture of a realignment of all these divisions. Now you've got USC that's in the Big Ten. You've got all some other teams that were in the Pac-12 that are now going to ACC, and so it has just been I don't know, just a big mixture of what's happening with all these teams, especially a lot of teams on the West Coast that are now joining other groups.
When the NIL was approved, I wasn't necessarily a big fan because, I thought that their college education was a pretty good payment for for the privilege of playing for whatever university or college they were representing. But I have to say, it has made college football very interesting to watch, and players now are doing what they think is in their best interests, and they don't feel like they're stuck at a university if they're not seeing playing time. There was a story yesterday, the heir apparent to Caleb Williams at USC, when the portal opened, he transferred to Boise State. He was the #1 recruit last year. His name is Malachi Nelson. And it's proving that you don't have to be at Georgia or USC or Ohio State to get paid, because I'm sure he's getting paid pretty good at Boise State to play there, and B, you can just play there 1 year and then go over to Georgia when their quarterback slot opens up, or go back to USC, which has happened in the past if it opens up. So, there's this rearranging of talent that's now happening on an annual basis, which makes it kind of exciting to see how the game are played each week.
Yeah, and just kind of for folks, the NIL player's name, image, and likeness, and what Larry, as you're mentioning, you've got this NCAA transfer portal that is basically a database and allows the athletes to get into this portal, right? Put their names in there and be able to transfer immediately to other schools of interest who are interested in switching or getting to this player. And what it has done, it has raised the question, and you get a lot of analysis on, especially from a lot of the traditional folks, is are we now getting into where college has become the differential between an amateur to a professional? Because you are right, Larry, there is, you can come into the portal and now you're having these schools that are saying, okay, well, we're going to pay you for your, NIL, your name, your image, and your likeness, and I use one example. They had the phenomenal softball pitcher over at Stanford, Najari, I believe her name is. She ended up leaving Stanford. She was the MVP this last year. She ends up leaving Stanford and basically gets a 7-figure NIL deal at Texas Tech.
Right.
And Texas Tech wasn't in the top 4 schools of softball this last year, for the championship. But she's getting paid about $1 million, and she's committed. She went into the portal, and now she's committed to Texas Tech. And so, as a junior, making $1 million, per year isn't a bad deal in softball, especially.
Right. If you can set yourself up for life, I'm not mad at them anymore. But it also allows players who go to Davis, if they somehow have a breakout season, they can now put themselves in a transfer portal and become, go to a larger Division I school, where in the past, I won't say you're never stuck at UC Davis, but where you don't have the opportunity to move and showcase your talent.
Do you think that this puts a lot of pressure on the Sac States of UC Davis, the smaller schools to be able to keep some of their athletes, or is it, we've got enough people who want to play sports, or the smaller divisions, does it impact them in being able to bring in those big talents, because you've got these bigger schools with the larger alumni who can bring in some of this talent?
I think it works both ways. There are a lot of guys that would be the #2 quarterback or linebacker, or even offensive lineman at USC, Michigan, Ohio State, that now can just go to Davis or Sac State and start and dominate for a year, and then show that, you know, that they really can play at a high level, and then transfer back to a bigger school. So I think it's kind of a win for the Sac States and the UC Davises, you know, in the long run. And both those programs are nationally ranked in their division. So they put on a really high quality product on the field every year.
It's going to be interesting because I'm wondering if we're going to, you know, like with the Dodgers, right? When they signed Ohtani, you know, you've got all these jerseys being sold with his number and his name in the back. You've got all these transfer portals going on. Do you really get a jersey from your school or the team that you root for with that name in the back, or do you just get kind of a generic one, especially with all these portals going around?
Right. You just get the number, not the name on the back.
Right.
So you can follow them around that way. But it has made it fun, I have to admit.
Yeah. Now, you know, I want to continue on this thing. I know we talked a little about the NFL, college football, but man, I mean, you called me up you texted, I think you texted me the other day, and you said, "Hey, are you following the Olympics?" And Amy and I, we've been watching the Olympics. Amy's, you know, she's been absolutely fantastic in watching especially the gymnastics with Ray. And I think you'll love this story. So, you know, so we've been watching the Olympics. You know, I'm sad I didn't get the chance to see the opening ceremony, but I'm going to try to in the next week or so to see opening ceremonies. I saw about 3/4 of the closing ceremonies. I had to do a little bit of work, and so I didn't catch it all. But one thing with the Ray, who's our 8-year-old, she's there with Amy, and they're watching gymnastics, and she's watching Simone Biles do her thing and all the other gymnasts and stuff. And Ray goes, "Wow, Amy," she goes, "Mom," she goes, "even I can't do that." And so she was just mesmerized by, I mean, just the athleticism. Just the amazing work that these young women are out there doing, you know, carrying that name of the USA, you know, on them and stuff. And I'm just wondering what an incredible show by all the athletes going out there and doing their thing. It's been fantastic. It was just great to see even Simone Biles, who took some time off, you know, to deal with mental health for a little bit, you know, kind of recharge herself. And I mean, now she's got 11 Olympic medals to her name. She took the gold in the vault, and I don't know, it was just a great story to see to her do that. The other gymnastics and just all the other, the swimmers, everything else, you know, just fantastic.
I think what I like best is, particularly because the last several years we've been kind of a divided country, and we arguing with each other over a lot of times silly issues. But this is that time of year where we're all Americans and we get to root for America. And it was fun to be screaming at the TV, you know, literally screaming at the TV when that 1,500-meter race is going.
Absolutely.
That kid came from 6th place in like the last 200 meters and won it. I mean, it's putting a chill up my spine just talking about it. So yeah. It makes you proud to be American when you see that. And it brings our country together and makes us feel good about ourselves, which we probably do that better than anyone else, be feeling good about ourselves and touting being American, which irritates the rest of the world.
Especially when the other two were shit talking each other.
Right.
And, you know, they were the pre-thing was the other two from, I forgot what countries they were, but they were like shit talking each other. It's like, no, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. And all that other stuff. And then here comes the number 6 guy out of nowhere. Takes that inside lane and boom, it was right. And to see the just the happiness, the adulation that came afterwards, just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, you told me about it. I said I haven't seen it yet. I usually watch it when I get home and stuff. And so it was obviously the recording of it. And yeah, we were. I mean, it was Amy, Ray, and I, and we're watching it, and we're cheering it on. Bella was in Japan, so that's why she wasn't there with us. But, you know, we were cheering it on, and it was just what a freaking race. With that 1,500, whoever's watching this, if you get a chance to see it, watch it. And you're right, it is the where everyone comes together, no matter, whether you're red, blue, in between, purple, whatever. I mean, it's just cheering on. But there were other things for me that I really liked. I mean, for me, one of my heroes in this whole in the Olympics was not an American. One of my heroes was that Turkish shooter, his no frills approach for the pistol shooter, the air pistol shooter, who just came out in some t-shirt, regular pants, just wore regular glasses. He comes out there, hand in pocket, comes out just like.
It was like a scene out of The Big Lebowski, if anyone remembers that movie, where he's just like, he's got a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other, and while everyone else is using these powerful scopes, he just, pulls out his gun, sets his beer down, and wins a medal.
He won the silver medal, and so I love the memes that came afterwards, which is like Gen X, right? Comes out their hand in pocket, doesn't really care, and then you got the millennials all with all these little scopes and stuff coming out, and so. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, he was just like, whatever, just shoot it down.
And a lot of the Olympics is going to be close to your home, in one of your homes in LA in 4 years. So I'm sure you're going to get to see, take advantage of that and see some of the games in 2028, which should be fun.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I know that there was a little controversy also with this thing. There was a lot of talk over was it the in the boxing section, women's boxing, where they had some controversy over two athletes, one from Algeria and the other one from Taiwan, and questioning as to whether or not they were male, they were female, and so it's obviously there was quite a bit of social media chatter on that. The World Boxing, I think, conference. They chimed in, as did the folks with the Olympics, and so it'll be interesting to see how all that kind of plays out in years to come, right? Not just whether it's the Olympics, but other boxing things. But I mean, aside from that controversy, I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed watching this. I mean, and I enjoyed it for a variety of things, But one of the things that I thought was different and enjoyable is like Snoop Dogg was freaking everywhere.
Right.
I mean, that guy went everything from karate to fencing. He was in the swimming pool with Phelps, Michael Phelps, who was all-time Olympian, learning how to swim. I mean, he was there with Martha Stewart, talking about different programs or like what they're going to eat, and it brought a whole different perspective. Right. To the Olympics. It made it fun. It was, the guy's just enjoyable in so many different areas.
Yeah, who would have thought 20, 30 years ago that Snoop Dogg would be the face of the Olympics at some point? But he was, and he was fun. Like one of the country synchronized swim teams did one of his songs, and he didn't know it. And when they started playing, he started dancing right along with it. It was with Martha Stewart at some horse event. He made some of the fringe sports that we don't watch fun and interesting, like Flavor Flav did.
Yeah,
he was also part of it. So all in all, I got to give the Olympics a solid A. They got to address the XY chromosome issue, and let's hope they address it properly. So we don't have this sort of. I don't want politics to be. From that angle, it starts eking into something that I want just to be purely patriotic about.
Right. And one more thing on the Snoop Dogg. I love this. There was someone posted on, and this is how fantastic his team is, right? Someone posted online and said, my mom is saying, hey, check out Snoop Dogg on the Olympics. And in the thing he says, I had to remind my mom how she grounded me for buying his album, right? And so and so Snoop Dogg ends up responding.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Hey, thanks to your mom, and so forth. Yeah, but it's how far he's gone from the rap over to this. I mean, the guy's just become so mainstream. I mean, and just the change. I mean, even with him, one of his friends is Martha Stewart. I remember watching them. About a couple of years ago, they were having a cooking show to see who could cook the best fried chicken, and it was Martha versus Snoop Dogg. And
Right.
so now to see them both in the Olympics and Snoop Dogg doing this thing, I know he was very well compensated, but I will tell you this is all those clips, all that, just kind of bringing that little extra fun over to the Olympics is well worth the money, well worth the time. And I got a great joy, especially, on social media, seeing all those extra clips because it made wanting to watch some of the sports that much more enjoyable.
I agree. It was a fun Olympics.
Now, one thing I want to ask you about the Olympics, and because it's back in our era of breakdancing. You had
honestly, that Australian lady single-handedly is the reason why breakdancing is not in the 2028 Olympics. I could not believe that. And by the way, she is sticking to her, like, she claims she's got some doctorate in music culture, and she's a beatbox dancer, and she just breaks it out whenever she feels like it. But yeah, it was the William Hung of the Olympics. Remember
Yes.
William Hung
Yeah.
from American Idol? That's what it felt like. When I saw it, I thought, this can't be real.
That's what we thought too. I was talking to Amy, and she's like, "This is a protest. This is a protest." No, I'm like, I don't think this is a protest. This is, first of all, who in the Australian Olympics team or commission said this is it right here?
Right.
This is going to represent us.
Right.
So her name is Rachel Gunn, and she goes by Ray Gunn.
Right.
So that's her street name, Ray Gunn.
Right.
So
God bless her, but she's the reason why they're not in the 2028 Olympics. And honestly, I'm glad baseball and softball are back, as well as lacrosse for 28 Olympics.
Yeah.
Over breakdancing.
Yeah, and so quite a bit of stuff on her over online. I know it made for a fantastic amount of memes. It made for fantastic little radio clips and all that other stuff. But it's interesting. I don't know how even it got in there. And granted, I know every country gets to add if they want to a sport or so forth, or include a sport or so forth. And so, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, her Ray Gunn or Rachel Gunn, however you want to go with it. She's come out in the last couple of days and said, hey, I like to do my interpretive version of breakdancing, and this is just my interpretive version of breakdancing. And so, for anyone else who's for a lot of these athletes, and I know we talked about the NIL and stuff, it's what you do on the field, what you do off the field, especially now with the way things are for social media, is you really can't hide anymore.
Nope.
Everyone's going to post it up there. They had that pole vaulter whose junk got in the way in the pole vault, and so he got offered quite a bit of money from a adult film industry to show his junk, and
right.
So it is in pole vault, and so it's
right.
Stranger things have happened, and so
yes.
So we'll end with Ray Gunn and her routine, and so it was just it was a great Olympics. It was a lot of entertainment, a lot of things to talk about on it, and so I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to 8 years from now or 4 years from now down in Los Angeles, because a lot of things will just be right down the street, and so Bella was talking about it. She got back from Japan this last week, and she got to see some of the Olympics and stuff there in Japan, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, she's calculating out. Oh, she goes, "Ooh, I'll be out of high school now, and and so I'll be able to go and enjoy it. Are we gonna go see this sport and this sport?" And Ray's like, "We're gonna go see gymnastics, and we're gonna go see swimming because she enjoyed that too." And so it's been neat. It's been a nice kind of the family kind of coming together and watching this whole thing together and cheering on our country together, and even talking about it with friends and stuff, and to have you call me and say, not about, hey, someone said something stupid, or hey, we got to deal with this controversy, or hey, what's your thoughts on what Trump or Kamala may have said, but more like, hey, did you see this whole race? It is fantastic. You got to check it out. I'm not going to tell you anything more, but just go and see it. And
Right.
And being able to share kind of in that moment. That was fantastic. So.
Well, I look forward to getting one of your rooms in your house in 4 years.
There you go, man. There you go. So, Larry, chit-chatting with you like always, and until the next time.
Thank you. See you soon.